Be here. Thank you, Felix Company and the authorities of this hospital for the invitation. This is my second visit in Vietnam, and first of all, thank you for the kind invitation and the kind words of Polish people. But I must say the same about Vietnamese people. When I was the first time in your beautiful country, you were so fantastic and you were so keen to know that when I got the opportunity to come once more, I said, of course, I'm going to Vietnam to share my knowledge with you. Just to start, I would like to tell you that I've started fetal echocardiography and cardiology in Poland from nothing. It was nothing when I, as a young pediatrician, decided to look at the fetal heart. So nobody was really doing this, and nobody really knew how to do this. And we succeeded just thanks to the cooperation between some people. So why the evaluation is important, it was already said, because congenital heart defects are the most common. We have to distinguish between functional and structural problems, as it is completely different outcome for the baby and completely different looking after this pregnancy. We need really cooperate very closely, and obstetricians should understand a bit about pediatric cardiology. We as pediatric cardiologists had to understand some parts of obstetrics, which is very important, as this is not a small kid. Fetal cardiology is different than pediatric cardiology. In Poland, it is possible to treat majority of congenital heart defects, so I think that this is the advantage of our approach. But when I started being a pediatric cardiologist, just few of the defects could be treated, so we made a big progress during the last quarter of a century. And we have to be aware, what was already said, that some of benign and quite well easy to treat congenital heart defects can be the first sign of genetic conditions, so we must be aware of this as well. So what should be done at the very beginning? I've learned obstetric scanning a bit, because we had to know if we cope with one or more fetuses, if the fetus growing normally. We should know about fetal placental circulation, so umbilical vein and artery, ductus venosus, middle cerebral artery, and uterine arteries. We have to know about the abdominal cavity, chest cavity, and mediastinum, and this consists of actually the screening. So we always start from the scan, from the bottom up of the lady's abdomen. Why? Just to know where is left, where is right. It is important because it depends how the fetus is lying. So we always start from the abdominal cavity, go to the chest, and go to the mediastinum. We of course use the choreographer as our connection between umbilical vein and the fetal circulation is important through the ductus venosus, which can be our first sign of congenital heart abnormality. So this is the plane which you always use to measure the abdominal circumference. So it is not really difficult to detect it. So how do we look at it? We should look at the umbilical vein, which is located centrally in the abdominal cavity. We should see the stomach on the left side. So first we must know that this is the left side of the baby. We should see the aorta, which is lying posteriorly on the left side of the spine, and inferior vena cava, which is on the right side and anteriorly to the aorta. And we should see the spleen around the stomach. So this is the normal abdominal cavity, and this is our first part of the cardiovascular system screening in the fetus. We use color Doppler. We should see the portal vein, and this is really this view, which can be obtained only in the fetuses. And I know that some venal problems are more common in Asia than in Europe, so you should be familiar with this just to catch some abnormalities which can be important for the future prognosis of the baby. So we should see the central intrahepatic part of the umbilical vein. We should see that ductus venosus is draining to the inferior vena cava, because if it does not exist, this is important message for your neonatal colleagues, because if there is absence of ductus venosus, then the neonatologist cannot catheter the umbilical vein, and it can be harmful for the neonates. So this is really important. So our cooperation with other people is very important. And we should see the portal vein as well, as I told you. So we always do all Doppler flow in the umbilical vein and artery. In the middle cerebral artery, remembering that we shouldn't do the angle correction because it changed completely velocity. And I know that in Asia, thalassemia, all types of thalassemia are much more common than in Europe, so can be the first sign of fetal anemia. And then we check the ductus venosus, and we check the uterine arteries as well. So as cardiologists, we know how to do some Doppler tracing in statics as well. And this is absolutely necessary part of the full fetal echocardiography. So then, going to the chest, we look for the cardiac size and cardiac position. How do we look? Cardiac size, it should be about 1/3 of the chest. But remember, in the first trimester, it will be a bit smaller. In the third trimester, it will be a bit bigger, but it doesn't matter. Then the cardiac axis. In the normal or close to normal full chamber view, it will be your first indicator for possible congenital heart defects in which full chamber are normal, but vessels are abnormal. So look at the axis, because when our obstetricians started to look at it, just all what we call conotruncal defects, so those defects when there is normal full chamber, abnormal vessels, started to be detected during routine scanning. So this is the axis, this is the view